for the most part, detoxification can be a good thing. However, it's not always good. Everything isn't for everyone. And in some cases, people don't need to detox at all.
This is episode number 113 of the Life, Strength, and Health podcast. I'm Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessings.
Yes. And thank you for joining us this week. The title of this week's episode is 5 Reasons You Should Not Do a Detox. And before we dive into this week's episode, just want to share the testimonial of the week. And this testimonial comes from Amanda. Amanda says, I actually stumbled across Life, Strength, and Health because I was interested in colon hydrotherapy. Let's just say I truly love Life, Strength, and Health. I'm currently working on getting my health back into motion. Therefore, Jamal is excellent on guiding me on this journey. Kim is amazing as well. I highly recommend. Thank you, Amanda, for those kind words.
Yeah, thank you.
And we wish you much health success. This week's Organic Food for Thought is the Dirty Dozen Foods list. That's like a tongue twister. Dirty Dozen Foods list. Every year, the Environmental Working Group, the EWG, publishes a list of the Dirty Dozen, or the fruits and vegetables the nonprofit claims to have the highest amount of pesticides when grown conventionally versus organically. The EWG has compiled the list annually since 2004 based on internal data that's not peer-reviewed. Using 40,900 samples for 47 different types of produce, the EWG found these 12 had the most pesticide residue. So on this list is strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes.
Yeah, so these things are saturated with the most pesticides, herbicides, has the most toxicity. So a lot of times our clients ask us, is it necessary to have and to eat organic foods? And ideally, yes, you should try to go organic when possible, because it's not just about toxicity, it's also about nutrition. However, sometimes all organic things aren't available for you. You can't get everything organic. And then sometimes organic can be expensive. So there's a question of, okay, how about we just get the most necessary foods? And that's what this list shows you. Every single thing that Kim just read on this list should be organic. And then in the other areas, ideally, yes, they should be organic, but it's not as important.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also you have to look at your budget, in terms of the food choices, because sometimes, everyone knows when you talk about whole foods, they call it whole paycheck because the prices may be more expensive in there. Eating vegetables over processed packaged junk food, sometimes you have to weigh it out. But
absolutely, on
this list, if you're going to eat these foods, try to get them organic, the list that I just read.
Yeah, I would try to, at all costs, if possible, try not to cut corners. A lot of times the really watery stuff is going to have more pesticides in them.
Right.
So a lot of things on these lists are, for the most part, pretty watery.
Right. So now let's dive into this week's episode. And as I mentioned, the title of this week's episode is 5 Reasons You Should Not Do a Detox. And I'm sure if you listened to previous episodes, Jamal and I, we mentioned that every change of season, we suggest doing a targeted detox. And we call this process internal hygiene, which is a really important component of living a natural and holistic lifestyle. And I'm going to list in the show notes pages of this episode some of the previous episodes where we talk about the importance of detoxification, the different types of detoxes that, you can do. I'm going to list that in the show notes pages. But in this episode, we're going to focus on 5 reasons you should not do a detox, because we want to be responsible when you're doing this. There's some instances where it wouldn't be indicated, where it would be more of a detriment as opposed to something more beneficial for your health to do a detox. So we're going to dive into our 5 reasons.
Yeah. Well, just to add on to that, that's the climate that we're in right now. Detox. Everyone is doing some type of detox. There are so many different detoxes that are coming out. Like that's the popular and trendy thing for whatever reason you want to detox is trendy right now. You know, different types of detoxes to lose weight, and full body detoxes, juice and fruit. Fruit. It's just so many different detoxes out there. For the most part, detoxification can be a good thing. Right. However, it's not always good. Everything isn't for everyone. Right. And in some cases, people don't need to detox at all. Right. So I think it's important to talk about that because everyone is just talking about, getting the benefits of detoxification, do this cleanse, do that cleanse, but no one is talking about the dangers of detoxification because there can be dangers. And I think that is really important to empower yourself and to really understand those dangers so that you don't end up getting yourself into trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
If you've listened to the different podcasts that we've done on detoxification, you're actually going to be further along than most people. Most people don't understand the detoxification process. Most people don't understand the different types of detoxes that are out there. Most people don't understand that you can rotate or should rotate the type of cleanses that you do. When most people think of a detox, they think about full body detox. But there's so many different types of detoxes out there, and it might not be for everyone. Right. For example, one of the things that we do at Life Strength and Health is colon hydrotherapy. Colon hydrotherapy is a type of detox in a sense. You're cleansing your large intestines. Everyone shouldn't do a colon hydrotherapy session. Like some people, it can be more harm than good. Like if you have, for example, irritable bowel, you don't want to, and you're in the middle of a flare up, you don't want to get a colon hydrotherapy session. Right. If you have hemorrhoids that are, ruptured. Ruptured. They're bleeding at the time. You definitely don't want to get a session. So that's kind of a big thing now. Colon hydrotherapy. Everyone wants to get their colon cleansed, and it can be beneficial, but there are times where it's not going to be the most beneficial. And you have to be educated and understand why it's not beneficial. And if you go to the right facility, they're going to be able to tell you if you should or should not. Just to go somewhere just to get it done without the proper guidance and support can actually go against your health overall. So detoxification is not always a good thing. So we want to talk about that as far as our mission to help to educate and point you in the right direction. Right.
So reason number one, you should not do a detox is no professional guidance or support.
And this kind of goes back to the example that we were just talking about, like with the colon session. You really want to make sure that you have the proper guidance. I mean, working with a professional is always best. You don't always need to work with a professional, but
especially as you get more experience. Right.
Yeah, but you really want to make sure that initially you have the proper support that you need. A lot of times you may have a friend that did a cleanse and you see that they're looking great and you want to know what they did and you want their type of results, and you pretty much follow the cleanse that they're doing, and it might not be the best cleanse for you because your condition and what you're dealing with could be completely different than what it is that your friend is dealing with. And I think that is also important for you as the person doing the cleanse. I think it's important for you to be responsible, right? If you do a 30-day, I'm just throwing this out there. If you do a 30-day fast, right, and you made it successfully and you're great, and you have a friend that is ill, to suggest that they do the 30-day juice fast is actually a little irresponsible if you're not qualified to assess if this is going to be the best cleanse for them, because it might not be. Right. So just because you have success with something, don't be so quick to recommend it to others. I think that to share that you had success with the cleanse
and what you did.
Yeah,
but just say, I'm not sure if this is for you, but this is what I did.
Yeah. And do more research, get some guidance to see if this is the cleanse for you. I know a lot of times our clients, they get a lot of success with their cleanses, and their coworkers, their family, their friends, they start to see their results and they want to do the cleanse that they did.
Right.
A lot of times our clients will say, well, this cleanse was recommended specifically for me.
Right, it was created for me.
You should see what type of cleanse you need to do, as opposed to just saying, well, I did this, you do this, right? So I think it's really important to just make sure that you're getting the right support and guidance. A lot of times we will read an article or watch a YouTube video about particular cleanses, and they're not going to give you the proper context for if the cleanse is right for you. So if you don't have the proper guidance and support, just make sure you do a lot of research and understand exactly what it is that you're doing.
Right. Reason number 2 is medication.
I think that this is a really important piece of the puzzle because a lot of times when a person is sick and they're not feeling their greatest, they're usually on medication. And there's so many different cleanses out there that are claiming to heal the body or at least point you in the right direction. So a lot of times people want to jump into detoxes while they're on medication.
Right.
And I think that is really important to be responsible with how you do that, because you never know how your body is going to react with the medication and the things that you're having. So, for example, like certain contraindications, like if there's certain herbs that you're taking, you want to make sure that you can actually take those herbs
with your medication.
Yeah, with your medication, right? Sometimes, a lot of times, when you're cleansing your body out, you're actually detoxifying the medication out of your body.
Right.
So, for example, if you suffer from epilepsy and your medication is to help you not to have seizures and you're detoxifying it out of your system, that could cause some type of problem, right? So you just want to make sure that what the medication that you're taking works with the type of cleanse that you're doing.
Wait. If you're taking medication for a specific amount of time, finish it. And then if you're a good candidate, do some type of detox.
Right. But the important thing is to just be mindful that what you're taking can be affected. Another scenario is you could actually make what you're taking more effective. One of the things that they say about alkaline water is that it helps your body to absorb your medications more, right? So if all of a sudden you go from drinking spring water or filtered water to alkaline water and you're, eating nutrient dense foods, now your body is uptaking your medication more. That could actually have an effect on your levels. It could increase it, right? So you just want to be mindful. Be mindful, get the research. I would encourage people that are on medication more than others, the importance of getting that professional support and guidance, especially if you're taking medication when you decide to do a detox program.
Right. So reason number 3 is the body is too weak. Now this, I don't know how many times we've had clients come in saying they want to detox because they want to feel better. And, you hear detox online and books, like you said, it's a big fad. And how many times the client has come in and after they sit with you, they're not in a position, they have to rebuild their body and give it things to nourish it, to get it to a place where it's a good idea to detox.
Right. A lot of times when it comes to detoxification, we look at the after effects. We listen to the testimonials about how good people feel after they detox. However, when you're detoxifying your body, you're stripping it down. You're actually getting rid of toxicity and you're technically breaking the body down. So it's very important to understand that a lot of people do feel better over time, but sometimes in the beginning of a cleanse, you don't feel the greatest, right? Sometimes in the beginning of a cleanse, you feel weak. And sometimes, depending on what type of cleanse you're doing, people feel kind of weak the entire time for the most part, or at least not 100% themselves, because you're not drawing from the same type of nutrition, depending on what type of cleanse that you're doing. For example, like if you're doing a fast, you're not going to have the same type of energy. You know, you're not going to have the same type of stamina. Usually when we do fast and we recommend fast, we tell people not to do weight training. Right. We tell people to do very basic things, walking, very light cardio, very gentle yoga, right? Because like cleansing can break you down. It can weaken your body. It takes work to get rid of toxicity sometimes, right? So sometimes, really, to be honest with you, in a lot of cases, if your body is already in a weakened state and you try to detoxify, the detox can actually do more damage than to your body than, you know, getting the positive benefits that you thought that it would, right? So you want to be really mindful of just the condition and the state that you're in overall when it comes to, you know, detoxifying your body. I think that's a really important piece of the puzzle. Right. And maybe a piece that people don't really think about or look at. Yeah, I think for the most part that's an area that a lot of people don't realize. We do, like you said, we get a lot of people that come in that's ready to cleanse, but after looking at them a little bit deeper, they're not just depleted. Yeah, they're not ready. You know, especially when you're dealing with like really serious diseases, you know, cancer and lupus and certain, you know, autoimmune diseases. Detoxification might not be the best thing for you. There are a lot of different types of health regimens out there, and everyone is so quick to throw a cleanse, you know, at something. And that's not always the best thing. You know, another challenge that we see, speaking of throwing cleanses, is sometimes you're doing cleanses too often, right? You're doing cleanses too often. Like I said, cleanses deplete you. So one common mistake that people make when it comes to detoxification is after they go through this stripping process and they detoxify themselves, now the body is ready to be built upon. Now is the time that you want to build, strengthen, repair, rebalance your body. And most people don't do that, right? So over time, because like after a cleanse, you're feeling great because you've kind of gotten out of your body's way. You've gotten rid of toxicity, right? So you're feeling better, but the body is in a weakened state. And we don't take advantage of that time to really build the system up, but we don't know how to build the system up. And over like shortly afterwards, we start to take a dip again because the body's weak, right? So now the average person will say, hey, I'm not feeling the greatest again. I'm not feeling how I felt. Yeah, I need to do another cleanse. So they do another cleanse and the body is already in a weakened state, right? So the cleanse is actually making them even more weak. So you don't want to do cleanses too close together as well. That puts the body in a weakened state. So you want to be mindful of that. Right. Yeah. So reason number 4 you should not do a detox is serious disease or condition. Yes. If you're dealing with serious diseases, I think that it's really important to consult with a health professional. I think that's really important. Because supervision is a must. It's key. You know, like for example, a person that is dealing with type 1 diabetes and even type 2 diabetes, if it's progressed enough, your body is having a difficult time lowering your blood sugar levels, right? So the worst thing that you can do is to go on a juice fast, especially a fruit juice. Yeah, you go on a fruit juice fast, and your body can't handle the sugar, or you go on like a raw food diet with a lot of fruits, and your body can't handle the sugar, or we know that as a diabetic, your sugar can crash, right? So you definitely wouldn't want to go on a water fast, right? Because you need to maintain certain types of levels. So cleansing isn't going to be for you.
Right.
So it's just really important to understand what you're dealing with and to make sure that you're doing the right type of detox. Right. Because that it could literally, be life or death based on the type of detoxification program that you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And the final reason number 5, you should not do a detox is constipation.
Yes. So when it comes to elimination, right, your body has preferred ways to detoxify the toxins. So your body is dumping a lot of toxicity into the intestines, right? So when you have bowel movements, you're eliminating a lot of your waste and toxicity. So it's very important that you have bowel movements, right?
Very important.
Very important. So if you're not moving your bowels on a daily basis, it's probably not a good idea to do a general detox. Like all the different types of cleanses, for the most part, they're general. You want to be very careful with the type of detox that you do. For example, your liver dumps its waste into the intestines, right? So if you're not moving your bowels on a regular basis and then you come and do a liver cleanse or a gallbladder cleanse or something like that, the toxicity can't leave your body, right? And you're going to end up feeling worse than you did when you started, because you're causing your body to release the toxins, but your body can't
There's
get
no
rid
outlet.
of. Yeah, there's no outlet. So you really want to monitor that. And also these cleanses that don't cause you to have bowel movements. Like when you're detoxifying your body, it's really important that you have bowel movements every day. So if the cleanse isn't stimulating daily bowel movements, then it might not be the right cleanse for you, because you're not going to be able to get the toxicity out fast enough.
Right. You're going to feel worse.
Yeah. When you start to have the skin eruptions, when you start to have the rashes and the sores, the mouth sores and the bad breath and the lightheadedness and just all of these things that people call detoxification symptoms, a lot of times we're getting those because the body can't get rid of the toxicity fast enough. So the more bowel movements that you're having during a cleanse, the better you're going to feel overall. So you want to make sure that ideally you're cleansing your colon first and you're having regular bowel movements so that you can successfully have a good cleanse. And if you're not moving your bowels on a regular basis, the first cleanse that you probably should consider doing is some type of colon or intestinal cleanse, some type of intestinal detoxification first. That's got to be the first level for you, a full body detox or like a juice cleanse or raw food or any of the things that's out there. If you're not having a bowel movement, it's actually going to be kind of toxic for you.
Yeah. And I remember, quite a few people that came in, and it kind of goes back to the being supervised or having guidance. They found the cleanse, either was referred to them or online, and they did it. And it was just explaining how, like, when they think about detox, it was a negative experience.
Yeah.
And when we dug deeper and asked questions, it was because they were not moving their bowels.
Right.
And so they just felt like horrible. And so that's what it goes back to, either having experience, getting guidance or supervision to see if that cleanse is right for you, because you will feel horrible if you do not eliminate your bowels during a detox.
And sometimes there could just be so much toxicity in your body that even when you're doing the right things, your body still can't get rid of the toxicity fast enough. So because of that, you just don't feel the greatest. We've had a lot of clients that have been doing cleanses and they weren't feeling the greatest. They come in, they do a colon hydrotherapy session and instantly they feel better, instantly, just from cleansing their colon and removing the waste from their system. So I think that, moving your bowels is a really big piece of the puzzle when it comes to detoxification. So if you're not moving your bowels, you should not detoxify unless you're focused on detoxifying the intestines.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So those are our 5 reasons you should not do a detox. So hopefully you gained some value from this week's podcast. And if you need additional assistance on your detox journey, on whether you should do a detox, the type you should do, if you need something customized, we would gladly help you. Just go to lifestrengthandhealth.com to find out more about our services that we offer. And the show notes page for this week's episode is lifestrengthandhealth.com/113. That's lifestrengthandhealth.com/113. And there, as I mentioned earlier, I'll list previous podcast episodes we did on the importance of detoxification. It's about 3 of them. I think we did maybe 4. So I'll list those in the show notes, and you can get this week's episode and find out more about our Wellness Center, Life Strength and Health. So thanks for listening. Stay tuned for next week's episode. And until next time, live healthier.
Yes, everyone. Stay healthy. Peace and blessings.